Well, dozens of seagulls had to be rescued from a dumpster today. They were trapped in what is essentially tofu waste. Tina Lovegreen was there. So she saw this with all of her own eyes. And Tina, you're going to walk us through exactly what happened here. So we're talking about a tofu company, a factory on the east side.
That's right. So if you can imagine this, behind the building, there's this giant tube that shoots out tofu byproduct, and it goes to this dumpster. But the problem is the dumpster has this wired fence on top of it. And so these birds were coming in to the wired fence, but they couldn't get out. So they got stuck. And so it took an army of volunteers to come in and work for hours on hours to get these birds out. The Wildlife Rescue Association got a tip earlier this morning, and with the help of the BC SPCA, they were able to get all these birds out alive, but it sounds like they still have a lot of work to do.
All the birds came out alive as far as you've seen. In terms of injuries, we were just packing them up and getting them to the wildlife hospital as soon as possible. So we're not quite sure what kind of injuries they've got, but it's obvious that they've got soiling on their feathers, which will affect their waterproofing, and it will give them hypothermia if we don't treat that. There could be some wing fractures, but until we get them to the hospital and we look at them, we're not sure.
Okay, so at least they managed to get the birds out. And you can see from this shot how they just would have, landed on the fence, and I guess they can slip right in, right?
Right, and it's tough to get out. They can't fly out of that.
Yeah, with their wings flapping, and this is food for them. So my question then is, why is this the way it is? I mean, why is it open to begin with?
Well, the company wasn't anticipating this. They actually have an arrangement with a farmer that comes by and takes this tofu byproduct and feeds it to cattle and farm animals. But what was happening was that people were coming by and scooping, essentially stealing this tofu because it makes for good fertilizer. So the company tells me that the farmer actually installed this fence on March 3rd.
Preventative measure that we wanted to, prevent people from getting injured, falling in, stuff like that, liability, health issues, because it's also, it gets scattered all over, because when they get it out, it gets scattered all around, and that's not too sanitary either. So we wanted to prevent that.
Well, Andrew, I actually spoke to the company earlier after I left, and they said that they are working to put a tarp on to ensure this doesn't happen. And they've actually decided to work with the farmer to find a different arrangement to get that byproduct. But I also talked to the city of Vancouver, and they say that any dumpster or waste bin should actually have a solid lid that's locked when it's not in use. So feels like there might be more to the story.
Okay, Tina Lovegreen, thanks so much.
You're welcome.